I recently posted in the Facebook group which I run, which is Fans of Serif Software, and I did put it in a couple of other groups as well, a link to some free glitter textures which were done by Creative Fabrica. Now, Creative Fabrica, they give away a free item each week, and this particular item is this 20 gold glitter textures. Now at the time of making this, there's 4 days, 9 hours, whatever you, left to get this for free. There's not a lot of point me adding a link to this, because by the time most people will get to see this offer will no longer be going, and you'll probably have to pay probably $19 a month or whatever to get this, to pay for it. But it is worth going to www.creativefabrica.com and joining up and seeing what other freebies they have, because they do, if I go to the freebies page, they do designs, fonts and textures and what have you. So it is quite worth joining Creative Fabrica just for that reason. Now I was asked after I posted this whether it was possible to make our own glitter textures and metallic textures to make styles from. So this is what I've been looking into. Now this is the styles that I made from the Creative Fabrica textures, and then I tried various ways of making glitter textures. This was my first attempt, and then I refined it slightly and I got to this, and then refined it slightly more, and this last one was a metallic style rather than a glitter style. Now I freely admit it will never be as good as these textures that came from Creative Fabrica, so they're probably photographs of actual glitter paper, or someone using Photoshop with far more ability than I have. I've only tried to sort of replicate it as best I can. So I will shut down all these and I will come back in a minute and we will start off part 1 of this tutorial, because it could be quite long, so I may have to spread this over 2, maybe 3 videos. Be back in a little while. Okay, to start the first 3 types of glitter effect styles, first thing I must point out though is you don't have to stick with my settings. The colours I've picked, the sort of amounts of any of the settings, you could use whichever settings you like and you will get different effects. So you can make as many different effects and styles as you wish. I'm going to sort of try and replicate what I've done previously, but they may end up being slightly different. Sometimes it's a bit hit and miss with some of these effects. So you'll have to bear with me on some items because it is a bit sort of it's a judgment call rather than a precise thing. So what we need is a new document. I'll come to File and New, and I'm going to make the size 2500 pixels by 2500 pixels, and I'm going to leave it on 300 dpi, and then just click OK. So now we have our new document. What I need is a new pixel layer, and to get that I just need to click on this icon here, and we now need to fill this with a color and a pattern, and we're going to do that by using what is called purlin noise, but first we need to change the foreground and background colors. So I'll just click on the white circle here, double click on it to bring up the color picker. Now you can either do it by the hex code or by RGB, which 9 times out of 10 I prefer to use this. So what I'm going to do is I'll click in the red channel and I'll make this 234, and then double click in the green channel and make this 226, and then click in the blue channel and make that 0. And if you want to use the hex, it's EAE200. So I'll just click close. So that would be the first color set, and then I'll just double click on the black, and for this I'm going to make the red 67, the green 65, and I'm going to leave the blue on 0. And if you want the hex code, that is 434100. Let me just put the darker colour at the back again there. So we've got the light yellow at the front and the darker goldy brown colour at the back. So now we want to come up to the filters channel and come to noise and then purlin noise. Now this will give us this sort of cloud effect here, which should be set up with the yellow and the darker browny colour at the back. Now again, like I said before, what settings you pick is up to you. You can move these around and get all sorts of different effects, but this is still set on how I had it before. So I've got octaves at 5, zoom at 190 and persistence at 50. So I'm just going to click apply. So I now have that effect set on that layer. So now we need to add some noise to this. So again, I'm going to come up to filter, noise, and add noise. Now for this I'm going to drop this down to about 10%, thereabouts. There we go. Let's go 10%, and you want it on uniform and monochromatic, and like I said before, if you want more noise or less noise, it's up to you. The only thing with this particular tool is that once you click apply, it takes away visually the effect. It makes it harder to see. So I mean, the first couple of times I tried this, I had this quite high just so I could still see it, but I then later found that it didn't work as well. So I've dropped this back down to 10%, and if I click apply, it almost looks like there is no noise there at all. So this would be the first pattern glitter style that we're going to make. So at this point I'm going to export this. So I'm going to go File, Export. I'm going to make the quality 100%, and I'm going to have this as a JPEG and export this, and then I'm going to save this, and I'm going to call this glitter 01, and then save. So I'm going to keep adapting the image and save it at different points, so I'll get different types of effects. I'm not going to make any styles until the later videos. I'll make all the patterns first and then I'll worry about making the styles later. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pixelate this image. So I'm going to go with filter, and it is distort and then pixelate, and I'm going to move the slider. It's easier to type this in because you don't want this too high, so I'm going to type in 20%, and then I'm going to apply that, and then I'm going to save this one. So I'm going to export this, and we'll be calling this one Glitter 2. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to undo this pixelation, and I'm going to do that by pressing Control and Z. I think it's Command and Z on a Mac. I'm not sure how you do it on an iPad, but it's Control and Z on a PC. Right, next I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer. So I'm going to right click here and come to duplicate, and you can do Control and J or Command and J, or just click on that to duplicate this. And I'm then going to hide that top layer, come down to the bottom layer and highlight that, and then I'm going to come up to Filter, Colors and Emboss. It just makes it a grey screen at the moment until you start moving the sliders, and I'm going to move the radius. Again, it's easy to type this in. I'm going to make the radius 20, and I'm going to make the amount 415, and the rotation, I had this at 225, which I think is somewhere, yes, just having that line pointing down to the left. Again, where you set this embossing and how much you inset it will affect the overall end image, and you can make all sorts of variations on the same theme. But once you're happy with it, you can just click apply and then come back to the top layer and make that visible again, and then we'll change the blending mode to overlay. And again, you could pick any of these blending modes to get an effect that you like. I mean, I liked overlay, so I'm going to leave it at that. So again, I'm now going to save this one, export, and this one will be Glitter 3. Right, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this blending mode back to normal, and this time I'm going to use a filter, distort and displace. Now what the displace does, it will be affected by the layer that's underneath, which is the embossed layer. So I'm going to click on load map from layer beneath just to make sure that is what I'm doing, and again you can move the slider to the left or to the right to get a different effect. Which way you go and how far you do it is completely up to you. I went to the right, and I went to 512, and then clicked apply, and then exported this version. So this one is glitter 4. So that is all I'm going to do on this part of the tutorial. I will look at making the other types of glitter in the next video. But hopefully you can see, just by slight variations here or different filter there, you can get a totally different effect, a different pattern, and from them we can then make the styles later on. So thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you will watch the later ones when I make them and upload them, and later on I will show you how to make styles from them all. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.